there. This is Morgan Hybert from small private liberal art school in San Antonio, Texas. And I'm currently working in admissions, so I'm on the road, hence why my video is being filmed in the car this week. I'm in the Pacific Northwest currently, about to be going home and looking forward to it after a month on the road. But for my university mentor paper and interview, I met with Charles White, who is the Vice President of Information Resources, Marketing, and Communications, and he is also a psychology professor at Trinity University in San Antonio, Texas. And in meeting with him to discuss my paper, I learned a little bit more about his role. So our office interfaces a little bit with the communication and marketing team on campus, which is why I had interest in talking with him, because there's an indirect relationship between admissions and his office, in that they help put together a lot of the marketing pieces, the road pieces that we travel with, and information that is going out to our families. So even though I'm not directly having a hand in that process, I'm utilizing a lot of those resources. So I thought it would be interesting to talk with him. And because I see his role is very one-dimensional in what he does with us, when in reality he really oversees all technology on campus. So working with our IT department, determining what kind of technologies we need in the classroom, and that sort of thing. And one of the things that I really appreciated and got to hear more about is actually spurred on by my paper, and Dr. White was saying that he agrees that there is a large conversation about the increase in online programs and the impact that will have on students taking courses online versus a traditional in classroom environment, and how living on campus or not living on campus may influence a student's collegiate experience, kind of that brick and mortar versus online format. And I found it interesting because while he agreed with the points that I was making, he also said that there's a lot of value in the online programming world, and that he's actually trying to initiate an online summer or a virtual summer session. So our campus is very traditional in that we don't offer any online courses currently, and our students live on campus for the first 3 years. And so for him to have that, have this idea and trying to institute this program will be very different from kind of the traditional approach that the institution has had in recent years. The other issues that he thought were important that we talked about was access, and whether merit aid is actually relevant, which I found interesting, and he tied it in a little bit with my paper about increasing cost while family income isn't increasing, and talking about athletics and kind of how that influences the cost of an institution as well. He also thought that assessment and student growth, as well as the number of courses that are taught by part-time professors, was something, and just the tenure track idea in general is a big issue in higher education, which I think was interesting, and I appreciated having his background as a professor, as a tenured professor, because that's not something that I think about. My position is not a tenure track position, and so that's not an issue that is necessarily at the forefront of my mind. And so it was interesting to hear his content from that, or his context there. He also mentioned, going back to the online program, that he's taken a few of the MOOCs, the wide-reaching online courses, out of pure interest. And I think I mentioned in my paper too that these courses are great for on-the-job training or continual training, and I think he nailed it right on the head, saying that that's what he used it for, and just that he was curious about the online format. And so I thought it was interesting that he's trying to institute exactly what I was saying is becoming more of an issue in higher education on our own campus. I also found it interesting that he, when I asked him how he interfaced with student affairs, he talked a lot about it's not necessarily that personal one-on-one with students, but more kind of the maintenance of the website and things that students utilize, and the resources that student affairs utilizes in their job, but not necessarily working directly hand in hand with them. So I'm really excited that I got a chance to chat with him and understand his role a little bit more in the context of the institution, and hear more about his issues. I know he has a lot of things that he's working through with updates to our software systems, for example, and so to see a different viewpoint of what issues are pressing in higher education was definitely interesting. So I look forward to talking to you guys soon. Take care.